All right. Hello. Welcome, everybody. We have a very special guest with us on the call, Robert Rogers. Wonderful to have you on. Thanks for having a little chat with us this morning.
Yeah, no problem. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too. Okay. Well, excellent. It is 2023, and we have another edition of the Medicinal Mushroom Symposium coming up March 20th to 24th. Robert is one of our feature presenters again, a man so, prolific in his writing that how many books are you up to now, Robert?
61.
And 61, unbelievable. Yeah, all in just a few short years. You've been pumping them out. So
Actually, my latest book, a little bragging here, it's on lichens, just got picked up by a publisher just about a month ago. So that'll be coming out in about a year. So medicinal lichens.
cool. That's incredible. So obviously, I know you had touched upon a little bit of lichens in this book, The Fungal Pharmacy, but I can only imagine you've gone a little bit deeper and expanded that.
Yeah, that was like 30 some pages, and I didn't know that much like 12 years ago. Learning more about how fascinating they are, really.
Yeah. Well, tell us. Let's dive in there. I know, fungi, or sorry, lichens they have an element of fungi in them. They're not a true fungi. Tell us a little bit more about lichens.
Yeah, well, they basically, the fungi, they provide the thallus, the structure, and then they are symbiont with either algae or cyanobacteria. And now, in fact, they're finding that there's actually not just the two, but sometimes three or four or more organisms all collaborating together to make the lichen not only can survive in extreme climates, including it's been shot into space and hung out on the wall of a space capsule for like a year and a half, and it comes back to Earth and it starts growing again. I mean, so there are people out there who think that it's going to be when they finally get to Mars, that's going to be the creature that they try to see if it'll grow on rocks or whatever there. So, or if maybe it's there already, who knows?
Yeah, who knows, right?
Yeah. So, but the book is going to be about the ethno-lichenology of North America, which means that I took a deep dive into how indigenous people of North America really made utilization of lichens and knew about them a long, long time ago, both for food and medicine and clothing and blah blah, and very interesting. And then I take another deep dive into the different compounds that are unique in lichens and how they actually are very antimicrobial, antiviral, antifungal, have shown cytotoxicity against just about every human cancer cell line there is. So it's going to be interesting. And I lined up, I really lucked out and hooked up with a fellow Jason Hollinger, who is a remarkable photographer, and he's going to do all of the color photos on the color insert in the middle of the book, and really close-ups of these lichens. And when I started looking at them, I couldn't believe how beautiful they are when you really, take your hand lens and get down on the rock and look at them. They're amazing. So
Wow.
lichens on trees, lichens on rocks, and things like that. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I liking what you're up to there, Robert.
Yeah. It's been fun. As I told my wife, I often say after I do a book, she'll go, "Well, that's it. I have nothing more interesting to talk about and write about." And she goes, "Yeah, yeah, I've heard that before."
Right. Just wait
Yeah.
5 minutes, right?
Yeah, well, I'd be bored. I don't know what I would do. Something that's fun and I have a passion for, I want to share it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and I know that you originally started with herbs, and you've been a herbalist for years. And I often tell people about. I believe these were your exact words. You said you got into fungi, you got into mushrooms because the herbs no longer challenged you. right? You'd kind of been there, done that, researched them, explored them, and obviously there's always going to be that relationship. But then fungi for you was the next frontier, and it sounds like Lichen is now that next frontier, and you've definitely established yourself as the leading voice expert on medicinal mushrooms, fungi in general. I don't think anybody's put out more material and more work than you have, and I love that. You know, that idea, that passion that you have. In order to learn, one can teach, right? And 12 years ago, you didn't know much about lichens, but hey, you've dove in, and
Yeah, yeah, they are fascinating, and thank you for that. I no longer teach at a college level. I'm getting to a point where I'm getting pickier and choosier about what I want to do, but I still do occasionally walks and talks with people with plants and mushrooms and now lichens, and so as long as my health holds, I'll probably continue to do that and travel a little bit. I really got restricted during COVID, but made a few trips to the States, and maybe again, if it's an event and it's the people I really like, I'll probably do stuff like that again. Maybe down to Calgary one of these days. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Would love to host you. I know it's a real treat to spend some time in the forest with you. And so next best thing is we're going to have you on the Medicinal Mushroom Symposium. So it'll be online, which honestly I like, like you get to hang out in the comfort of your home. So do people tuning in. And the format that we have is kind of 2 presentations a night, an hour each. Just it's digestible enough. People can focus like per evening. Versus kind of an all-day or multi-day deep dive. And so on Thursday, March 23rd is when we have you. You're going to be talking about mushroom medicine, the future of functional fungi. So just give us a little kind of insight into that topic and what you'll be sharing and why you chose it, whatever else you want to kind of give us as a preload to that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Well, I think it's, Fungal Pharmacy was published in 2011, and so of course, the amount of research and delving into different mushrooms has greatly increased since then. So I've done a few books. I wrote a book on medicinal mushrooms, the human clinical trials, which those who are very interested in the fact that there are hundreds of double-blind placebo-controlled trials associated with certain mushrooms. I find that fascinating. I find it, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah,
there it is.
Yeah, and I think really.
Got all my tabs open.
Good. Yeah, yeah. It should have an index in the back with all the different, this is good for breast cancer. This is, clinical trials. So indexed a bit, maybe down the road. But other mushrooms have popped up over the last dozen years that really have caught my attention, that generally we think of them as maybe perhaps edibles, but they actually, as we look further into them, some of the compounds in there have been shown to be extremely useful for a variety of chronic conditions, not just chronic, but like some serious like MRSA, bacterial infections, antiviral, ones that are extremely useful for some of the kappa opioid receptors of the brain, cancers, diabetes, etc., cardiovascular. So basically, I wrote a book here that has about 65 different genera and about 160 species of what I would call lesser known medicinal mushrooms. And I've just chosen half a dozen of those that I'll talk about on Thursday.
Okay, amazing. Can you maybe give us a kind of a sneak peek into that list? Like what are some of the names when you say lesser known fungi, things that we associate with more culinary? Yeah, and they're medicinal.
Yeah, well, I'm going to talk of King Bolete, which is always a favorite. If you ever find one of those in the woods, that's always a special treat. Probably one of my most favorite edibles. I would say it's right up there on the list. I'm also going to talk about the hawkling, which Sarcodon, which some people say it's bitter, some people say it's better. The reality is that it depends which species you pick. There is one
Right.
that's called the bitter, the bitter hedgehog, it is extremely difficult to get around that taste. But the others are beautiful and also have quite a number of interesting medicinal value. I also am going to go back. I wrote a paper many years ago for Fungi magazine on chicken of the woods, but I've updated that chapter, and as there's more and more information about it, and it's one of my choice edibles. Generally, found in Western Canada here, generally conifers, but as you go further east, there's a great one that is at the base of oaks in Manitoba, which I've really had the opportunity to eat. And so we're going to talk about that, and then a couple more. I think that what I really want to get across to individuals, I hope in the talk, fairy rings too. I want to talk about fairy rings. A lot of people, well, not so much anymore, but say 20 years ago in my neighborhood, a lot of people had fairy rings on their lawn. And I'd ask them, I said, you mind if I pick those? And they go, oh yeah, take them away. And after I would do that 3 or 4 seasons, they got curious and they would ask, well, are they really edible? And I said, oh, they're delicious. And then they wouldn't let me pick them anymore. They wanted them for themselves. So, but anyways, the caps of those are remarkably tasty. The stipe, not so much. It's a little tough, so I just throw that away. But anywheres where they don't spray, they're really common and a choice edible. So
No, just I want to dig into that comment. You said not so much anymore. Have you seen a decrease in those populations? And if so, what do you think is the cause of the fairy?
fungicides.
Oh yeah, darn.
Yeah, people are spraying fungicides on their lawns. I mean, I can't believe it. And in fact, the widespread use, more so, of fungicides in commercial agriculture is one of the reasons why there are less fungi than there could be. So that's one of the downsides of it all, is that we really need to look at the bigger picture of keeping our environment more pristine and clear, and our ecology awareness is very lacking in the commercial agricultural industry.
Oh, totally. It's just horrendous. And, there's all this talk of carbon capture. And from my understanding,
Right.
yeah, from Zach Bush, he's like, if you want to capture carbon, like look to the fungi in the soil, right? They
Yeah.
do that. And
Plant more trees and ectomycorrhizal fungi. It's not a problem. Trees love carbon dioxide. What are you talking about? Right? That's the best sequester there is.
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When oil and gas talked about they're going to pump carbon dioxide underground into these whatever, like who's to say that's not going to escape it all at one time? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. We don't know the
we don't
consequences of
know.
that.
We have no idea. They don't have
Yeah.
any idea either. It's just ridiculous.
Totally. Well, that's exactly, one of the reasons why we do these medicinal mushroom symposiums, little chats like this is to get the education out there so people know, they're aware. Like fungi and mushrooms in particular are kind of a vastly misunderstood, incredible resource for humanity. The future is fungi. And I love that you have titled your talk, The Future of Functional Medicine Using Fungi, because they're so critical, they're so valuable. And if we could just get our head straight, even just awaken to the possibilities, just to have people pause a moment before they start applying that fungicide, then
And I think it really fits into a circular recycling initiative, which you really have to start looking at. That is, from forestry and agriculture, there is so much substrate, like from trees that are just left in branches in the woods, from various grains that have straw that can be utilized as a substrate. We are rich in resource in this country. We just are very blind to the fact that we can recycle and create more of a whole circle that really makes everybody healthier and happier. So,
Yeah, yeah.
it's good. It's one of those issues that I think is really important, and fungi do play a key role in that pattern. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's easy to kind of focus on the problems, hear about the problems, and but the solutions are out there. It's abundant, and we got to stop looking to politicians to provide solutions. It's got to come from the people. And as an example, you talk about the forestry industry. The sheer amount of medicine that's available, prior to a clear cut. I'm not one for clear cuts. I'm all for lumber and the utilization of wood. So I'm not kind of let's not chop down the trees, but we could do it more intelligently. But even if it was to clear cut, we could go in before it gets clear cut. We could harvest,
Yeah.
so much medicine in the form of plants and fungi. Then it gets clear cut, and then, like you say, then there's all this kind of leftover biomass that could be utilized in such great ways. So it's not that we don't have solutions. We just each individually, collectively, just need to be creative and engage with nature.
Absolutely. I mean, you know how in Alberta, at least, they're talking about the next revolution of energy is hydrogen, right? So
Yeah.
how are they going to make the hydrogen? Natural gas. And one of the things I found in my research is that there are particular lichens that actually, if you can create the environment and they produce hydrogen.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be like that would be a biohydrogen? I love, or mycohydrogen, I guess it would be, right? Yeah. So the science is out there, the research is out there. It's just that people get it sometimes takes 10 or 20 years for people to clue in to the kinds of initiatives that would really make this a healthier planet. And it's too bad that it takes so long, really.
Yeah, totally. And whether it's issues like carbon to hydrogen to even what we went through in the last 3 years in the pandemic, yeah, there's so much we could have utilized. And some people did, if they had the knowledge,
Yeah.
help themselves through that. So anyways, I know we were going to have a short conversation. I want to leave on a high note. I feel inspired. I feel like totally energized. Yeah, we talked about problems, but just the abundance of solutions that are out there and the positive momentum that we can get on board with people like yourself who are
Yeah. No, I hear you. And by the way, the few that I picked out, I put a book out on this topic that I'll share with people after my talk on Thursday, and I'll just show you the cover of it.
Woohoo!
Isn't that a wild photo of the picture?
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Is
Nice.
that neat? Yeah, yeah.
Cool. And I
So
love the font. It reminds me of the font that you used for the last book that you featured in a previous symposium about the psilocybin mushrooms.
yes, that was good. And by the way, I'm really happy to hear that that whole movement of creating the opportunities, not only just decriminalization, but that psilocybin now is in the attention of the general layperson. There's been enough articles on television, radio, newspaper, and now the pressure is on the government to actually do the right thing and make this available to people who want to, who need it, who want it. And so it's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. So yeah, not another positive note to end on. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
when I first
Mushrooms
became, yeah, the fungi.
mushrooms can save the world, as Paul Stamets says. Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
that. Yeah. Yeah,
cool. Right
looking
on.
forward to
Well,
it. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for putting together this wonderful lineup for the symposium. I'm really looking forward to tuning into, well, a number of those people I know, personally. And so that makes it exciting. Yeah.
yeah, totally. Cool. All right. Well, if you're watching and you want to join us March 20th to 24th, it'll be 10 sessions from 10 different experts. You can go to lightseller.ca. And then Robert's got a coupon code. RR20 will get you $20 off your registration of the already low early bird price. So just put that into the cart when you're registering, and yeah, would love to see you there. We're gonna have lots of fun and time for questions and just kind of hanging out while we all connect online too. So thanks for your time this morning, Robert, and look forward to connecting again, kind of mid to late March for your presentation during the symposium.
Thank you, Malcolm. It's always a pleasure. Great to see you again. Take care of yourself. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll post everything down below for people, links, including to your website, Robert. Best way, I think, for them to get your books. We've got a couple in store, but of the 61 titles, they're all available on Amazon.
Yeah. Well, come on. I should start my own bookstore, really, shouldn't I?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'd have to get another bookshelf just for the Robert collection.
Yeah, that's sweet. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.